All right, this week on Camera Talk, we are kind of going down a different road this time. We're going to do some comparisons, but it's not between lenses. It's between, I guess, formats. How about that? Film versus digital. Oh my God, we've never even thought of such a thing before, have we? But that's what we're going to talk about this week. Dylan and I, we're going to go down.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.
Individual paths of what the pros and cons are of each one of these and decide which one is best for us. Are you ready, mister? Are you ready? Well, let's get it on.
Here I am, Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.
This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. That's right, Master Dylan is here with me, for another episode of Camera Talk. And just as the intro said, we're going to be looking at comparing, film versus digital. And, what are the pros and cons? What really are the differences between the two? And, film is kind of seeing a resurgence. It's becoming popular again, especially among the younger generation, let's say, is thinking of, hey, I'd like to try this film thing going on here. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to start with film, and then we'll get into digital. So do you know what film's all about, mister? No, you don't know? Well, let me tell you. Film was the original format for photography, obviously, right? Duh. We're talking over 100 years ago. There's no digital anything. So, I'm not going to go right back to the very beginning of where photography all came from and everything else, but talking about film in itself, the film that we know and love dearly today came from a gentleman named George Eastman, who, if you know the term Eastman Kodak.
Kodak film for the times of your life.
They go together, right? Yeah, he was a founder of Kodak Film as well. And this was in 1865. No, sorry, thinking of my birthday. 1885 was when George came up with this plastic strip that was coated on one side with a silver halide crystals that were made into a gelatinous emulsion.
Ew!
Sounds like something you put on your sandwich, doesn't it? Oh, I don't want to eat that. Ew, yuck. Yeah, probably doesn't taste very good. But still, on one side. And what is it? What was all that for? Well, it was developed to react to light. So basically, film is light-sensitive strips of plastic with chemicals on it, basically.
And now for something completely different.
All right, so the 35 millimeter that we all know and love today, and goes into the film cameras that most of us are aware of and used to seeing everybody using around the streets. Of course, they come in other different formats too, which I'll talk about in a second. But the 35 millimeter is the common one, developed by Leica. Also back in the day, with Oscar Barnack and Max Barrett with the lenses and whatnot. But they developed the 35 millimeter, which is what's used in most film cameras that we find everywhere today. They come in rolls of 24 or 36 exposures, which means you take 24 pictures or 36 pictures, and that's all you get. Then you have to process them. So that's the film. that goes into these things. As I just said about the different formats, so this is a 35. This Yashica here is a 35 millimeter film camera. They also come in medium format, which is 6 centimeters wide by however many tall. I mean, there's various ones of those too. My Rolleicord up there is a medium format, and same thing. It comes in various size film. Dylan, just sit there. What are you doing? Hey, yeah, can't take you anywhere. Well, I do take you places, but that's what the saying goes. Can't take you anywhere. Could dress you up, can't take you anywhere. Large format is obviously the biggest format. And it is, again, in 2 different sizes. And this one's an inch instead of metric. It's 4 by 5, 4 inch by 5 inch, or even larger, 8 by 10, just like a sheet of paper that you print from your photocopier. So those are the 3 different formats. I don't have much experience with the larger formats, so I won't really get into that. But the 35 millimeter is, like I said, is the format that we were most accustomed to. And here I have a Yashica from the late 60s, early 70s. They had a number of different models. And the way it works is that we open the back, insert a roll of film, stretch it across, wind it up, and close your lid, or close the back. And the film, in digital world that you're used to today, you have ISO settings, which is again touches on the light sensitivity of the sensor. But since film doesn't have sensors, it's all based on the film itself. The film actually comes with an ISO rating already designed for the film. So with that said, once it's loaded, you crank your rewind or action arm here. It's funny, Daddy forgot the term for that, but you guys probably already know what it is. And you look through your viewfinder, and the difference again between this and a lot of digital stuff is this is through the lens, right? So what you're seeing through your lens is what you get. So if your aperture is wide open, then it's easier to see things. Obviously, if you're stopping down, it gets darker and it gets very difficult to see. So generally, most film shooters will they'll set their exposure through wide open aperture and then stop down afterwards. And a lot of these presets older lenses have a preset function, and you can set it at specific preset, let's say 5.6. So then once you're metered in at 5.6, you just switch automatically to 5, or open. This is an f2, so you're open at f2, focus in, get your light meter, and then switch to 5.6 automatically, and then you shoot from there. And of course, it's all one click, and it winds. And when you're all said and done, you basically wind your film up and close it, open it, and it's in this little canister. You plunk it into your again, little plastic container, so you could take it to either a processing facility Or for those who have their own dark room, which I do not. I don't have any experience in a dark room, so I'm not even going to talk about that. But a lot of people like to process their own film because it's part of the experience of doing such a thing. So anyway, I'm a little on the lazy side. I
No shit, Sherlock.
just like to take my shots, send it off to whoever, and they process it for me. And then I go pick them up, and voila, I go through my little film and go, oh, isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? Little pictures of Dylan. So anyway, that's the process. Some of the pros of film versus digital are that film offers a unique look. It is different than digital. Now you can, with the software that we have these days, you could always take a digital photo and make it look like a film photo. But that's to each their own. Everybody's free to do whatever they want with their photos. But for those who want an actual film look through using film, then obviously film is the best way to go, right? Film, yeah. Also cheap. Now, when I say cheap, I'm not talking about the film. I'm talking about the gear. Like this Yashica with an F2 together cost me maybe 30, 40 bucks. That's a camera and a lens. And this lens is killer too. Even using that on digital, it's an excellent lens. So who can go wrong with that, right? It's cheap. So that's another advantage of film gear today. I mean, you can still buy brand new stuff. I mean, look at Leica just put out a new version of their M6. And charge a whole whack of money for it too. Whew. But anyway, the other thing about using film gear is the fact that it's all manual focus. Actually, again, just like Leica, so it slows you down, lets you actually think about the scene and the composition, and the lighting, and everything else. So that's a benefit in itself. And the last, positive thing about this is it's mechanical. Therefore, again, something from the 60s, 70s, 80s, it's mechanical. So as long as you're taking care of it mechanically, it'll last you forever. Versus digital, like my M10 Leica here. The camera itself was only a couple years old, and the sensor already crapped out on it, and I had to get it replaced and everything. So, yeah, I think that's it. Well, one of the things to remember with film versus digital is for film you want to expose for shadows, versus digital you want to expose for the highlights, right? Why is that, Daddy? It just is, mister. That's just, it's the science of the technology. Learning the Sunny 16 rule is very helpful, so that you're making sure your shutter speed matches your ISO setting, and then going f16. And basically, you can't go wrong with that. It's kind of a good way to go. So anyway, I think that was it for. Forgot with my cons too. Got to continue with the cons. The downside, besides processing cost and whatnot, it's less convenient. I mean, having to go through all the film thing and buying film, getting it processed. Keeping records of, what the settings were, because there is no digital information like you get with a digital camera, right? So you got to keep all that information. It's less flexible, because, as I just said, the film is rated to specific ISOs. Or if you're getting color film versus black and white film, you can't just switch the two as you can with a digital camera, flipping back and forth. And if you want to share those film shots with your friends and whatnot on social media or anything else, obviously you have to get your photos digitized. So there's equipment you can buy to do that, or you can have someone, pay someone else to do it. So those are kind of the downsides of that. Anyway, so how about give you some random shots here of Dylan when we're off in where were we? In Vung Tau, Vietnam, at the seaside restaurant, waiting to waiting to order some lunch for us. So here's Dylan on film. All right. So, what do you think about that, mister? Did that make you happy?
Yes!
Seeing Dylan on film. All right, so how about we switch gears now and talk about digital and what's, again, now that we know all about film, at least all we need to know about film, and, what's the difference between that and digital. So, let's get it on with digital. We'll be back in a flash. Okay, and we're back. So now we're looking at digital. This will be a bit of a shorter episode or shorter half of the show, because we're all living in a digital world now, so that's kind of nothing really new to us. But digital revolution really didn't kick in until really this century. Of course it was around for a while, but it took a while for it to take hold in the market, right? And what is digital versus film? Well, digital is the same thing. It's light sensitive, just like the film is light sensitive plastic strips with chemicals. Digital is light sensitive electronic sensors, which are designed to capture light. Is really what photography is all about, right?
Do not go into the light!
With Eugene Lally of NASA's Jet Propulsion Labs, created the first digital imaging device, or process, I would say. Very rudimentary, of course. Definitely nothing to write home about. You weren't about to go sell that anywhere in public. But if it wasn't for Eugene, we wouldn't have progressed to where we are today. So kudos to him for starting that off. And, the first actual camera using the same technology wasn't developed till 1975 by a gentleman named Stephen Sassy of Kodak. He created a camera, and again, nothing anywhere near being able to sell to anybody for anything. But without this technological progress, we wouldn't have what we have today in digital world. So we have two different types of sensors. We have the CCD sensor, which I have in my Leica M9, has a CCD sensor, and it stands for charge coupled device, is what the acronym stands for, and they're still used today, but they were basically replaced by most mainstream digital camera manufacturers.
You're fired.
Just for the fact that the latest version of the sensor, the CMOS sensor, is just more economical. And CMOS stands for complementary metal oxide semiconductors. And they're, at first, the CCD was deemed to be the better of the two, better quality anyway. But again, with technology coming along, the CMOS sensors have kind of caught up, and they can replicate the look of the CCD sensor. So I have both. I have CMOS in my Sony, and Sony's a big sensor manufacturer, so many companies actually get Sony to build their sensors for them. And my M9 is a CCD sensor, which went through its own problems again with electronic devices. They have their issues.
Deal with that.
And when Leica released its M9 model in 2009, in a very short period of time, the sensors began having issues, corrosion.
Ew!
Like corrosion. How the heck could a company like Leica, who releases these super expensive devices, allow for corrosion and whatnot? It's because they developed the sensor with Kodak, and it was overlooked that, oh yeah, we probably should have coated the sensor properly, with a glass coating. They just didn't, and so they had to replace all their sensors, and mine is one of them as well. It's been replaced with a new CCD sensor. Well, it's not new, in 2015. But anyhow, those are the two different styles of sensors that are utilized today. And the very first digital camera to be sold to the U.S. public was the Dicam Model 1 in 1991. And then Logitech licensed, the technology and developed their own, which actually became more famous than the Dicam. It's the Photoman, and it was white instead of black. But that was Logitech's device in 1992. So, and anyway, and it progressed throughout. It took a while, as I said, to kind of get its hooks into the public, and again, it wasn't really till the 2000s when they started to take off.
Good day. How's it going? Okay. Boy.
And for me, I haven't gone back, to just using film. So my digital cameras are my bread and butter, so to speak. Not that I make money from my photography, right? But there's pros and cons again, just like with film. Digital has its pros and cons. The pros, of course, are cost. The cost of hitting the actuator, click, 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 taking pictures, only costs you time. If you have a memory card in your camera, there's no charge for using it. So you can take 1 million pictures and voila, they're yours. There's no processing fee. So that's number one, is the cost of using it. It's great for beginners. Using film for beginners is, you're going to have a learning curve. You can have a lot of photographs that don't work out, and they're going to cost you money, right? So digital is great for beginners because you can trial and error, make as many mistakes as you want, and you just delete the photo and move on. The other benefit is instant feedback, or instant gratification. As soon as you take a photo, you can chimp, as they call it, and look at the back screen and go, oh wow, yeah, that was a great picture. Versus film, you have to wait until it's processed. So it could be days, could be weeks until you know what that could be. The other great benefit of digital too is editing. Using software and whatnot, you can crop your pictures. You can recolor your pictures. You can sharpen your pictures. You can add special effects and all kinds of things to them. So that's something you if you're going to be doing that with film, it's a lot more challenging. With the dodge and burning and whatnot to change the look of your film. And technology. The other pro of digital world is technology is constantly leapfrogging itself, and you're coming up with something even cooler than it was before. So, that's digital for you. The cons, some people say that digital photography looks sterile, there's no character to it and whatnot. But as I just said, with editing though, you can add character to your photos. Too many pictures can be a downside, because now instead of having 24 or 36 pictures to look at and judge, now you may have hundreds or thousands, and you have to go through them all, so forth and so on. You get the temptation to manipulate your photos. Can be a con. called cheating. You might add things in or Photoshop things out, things like that. Oh, keeping you awake, are we? Too boring for you? Yeah, okay, faker. And then the other problem with digital is they also go obsolete. My M50, which is recording this camera talk, is rumored to be going obsolete at the end of its production lifespan. Now, it's a great little camera. It's one of their best-selling cameras at Canon, so it's kind of odd that they would kill it off. But they're trying to replace it with another lineup. But anyway, so that happens as well. Versus film. So that kind of wraps us up, brings us to the end of our comparison of film versus digital. What do we prefer? Do we like film? Do you like film? No? Do you like digital? Do you like digital? Yeah, maybe, sort of, kind of. Yeah, he's again a bit of a diva. He likes to look at himself on film all the time, or on the screen.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
So anyway, no, there's no time for hugs and stuff. You can love me later. But anyway, so that kind of brings us to the end of our comparison, film versus digital. So what do you prefer? You're the audience. I'm not going to, in a million years, tell you what you should or should not do. It's completely up to you. I'm just kind of bringing up the conversation of what the differences are. So you decide. You can leave a comment down in the comments section about what you like or don't like about either one. And then Dylan can review them, maybe give you some feedback himself. Feels good to hit you, doesn't it? It's like hitting a watermelon. So that's pretty much it. So a little plug for our photo editing software that we use. Who do we use? We use Luminar. That's right, Luminar Neo, Luminar HI, Luminar AI, and Luminar Neo is a mix of Luminar 4, Luminar AI. But it's economical, completely economical compared to some of the other big boys out there. And you buy it, it's yours for life. Got all kinds of great AI features. What does AI stand for, mister? Remember, this is your part of the show. AI, what is AI? I don't know. Come on, guess. Guess. No, it's not that. I told you already. Oh my goodness. Where are you getting these ideas from? So anyway, it's got great AI, spot dust removal. What else? Power line removal. You just, again, one click, boop, it takes it away for you. Masking AI, background AI. What other AIs? There's a bunch of AIs in there.
This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it.
AI this, AI that, Dylan AI. Dylan is his own artificial intelligence. We're not sure where he's getting that from. Is that from mommy or daddy? But anyway, it's economical. And if you buy a copy through our link down in the description below, you save $10. So it's not only already economical, but saving $10. Who doesn't like to save $10, right? And then where does that $10 go? It goes back to Dr. Scott and Dylan. Mostly Dylan, because it's kickback. Yeah, kickback. That's right. Don't be shy. You know you want your $10. And what are you going to do with your $10? Are you going to save it? You're going to put it in the bank? You're going to wait till you have $1 million. $1 million.
$1 million.
That's right. So yeah, get yourself a copy. It's worth it. Luminar Neo. So anyhow, what else? How about you support our channel? We can always use more support, right? So how about you subscribe? And Dylan gonna help? Dylan on this side? Subscribe. You don't want them to subscribe? Yeah, punch in the head. How about 2 fingers? Your 2 fingers, my 2 fingers. Subscribe. That's right. What are you being all shy for? Hey, hold your arms down there. No more hiding behind your hands. So besides subscribers, what is YouTube like? Does YouTube like the thumbs up? You like the thumbs up? You want to show them the thumbs up, girls? Some of your girlfriends? Thumbs up. Do 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 do. Thumbs up. That's right. Aren't they special? I know you got a special place in your heart for one of them. But anyway, so that's it for this week. So come on back next week. We do one of these every week. And why should you come back? Why should they come back? Because you belong here. That's right. And where do they belong, mister? Where do they belong? This was Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. That's right, with Dylan. So thanks for dropping by. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for buying a copy of Luminar through our link. Thanks for listening to Dylan. Thanks for listening to Dr. Scott. Thank you for just being you. And well, it's not too close, not too far away from your 3rd birthday, yeah? Another couple months and you'll be 3 years old. Oh my God. Well, the time flies. So, you ready to say bye-bye?
Bye.
All right. So, thanks for dropping by and we'll see you next week. All right. Bye-bye.
Here I am, Vietnam.